How could the Jamaica men's national team potentially line up with key players absent? Join Premier 7 for the details. The FIFA Men's World Cup will be played in 2026, and where Jamaica is concerned, the official squad announcement was revealed. But some of our key players are absent, mainly because of injuries. Will the injuries last forever? Absolutely not. But Jamaica has two key games to play before Copa America. And the players who we currently select, do they have what it takes to get Jamaica the points needed to kickstart our campaign? On Premier 7 today, I will be doing a breakdown as to how Jamaica can potentially line up to face the Dominican Republic. And if this formation does make sense, for which it will, Jamaica should go ahead and utilize the same against Dominica. Stick around. This is the tactical aspect of the video where the Jamaica men's national team is concerned. As you can see to the right, Jamaica World Cup qualifiers line up with key players absent, the potential lineup. So by now you should understand that some of our key players will be absent mainly because of injuries, and that is outside of the players concerned. Because Premier 7 is an unbiased platform who views the game from a tactical perspective, I want to speak directly as to how Jamaica could potentially line up, speaking directly about the game that will be played against Dominican Republic. So the game will be played on the 6th of June 2024, and this will be the game that Jamaica has to have a very good start to. It's the starting of our World Cup qualifying campaign, and we want to do our best. The game will kick off at 6:30 p.m. Jamaica time, and I am hoping that the fans will turn out to support the national team. So based on the objectives seen here, Jamaica men's national team potential lineup for World Cup qualifier 2026, there will be a discussion surrounding potential formation and style of play. For my description, the Jamaica men's national team roster is very essential. A useful lineup and style of play will be disclosed to support the team as they progress. Jamaica will face off against the Dominican Republic on June the 6th, 2024, and 3 points is essential for a start. And I know for a fact that not only myself will think like this, because if we're going to go into a World Cup qualifying game without some of your key players, the players who are selected should be on their P's and their Q's, dominating the various positions that they're given as an opportunity, making sure that they hold on to this opportunity by the scruff of its neck and play as best as they can to help the national team go forward. For my coaching points, I will be utilizing a 4-2-3-1 formation, and I am saying here that the right back and left back should have commendable defensive and attacking ability. I will play with a double six, and they should have CM attributes. The attacking midfielder should have a number 8 quality, as well as wingers and striker are there to provide balance, create chances, and score goals. Let's get into the breakdown as to how the team will play by our formation and tactical moves. This is the potential lineup that I will go for, where Jamaica will play against Dominican Republic in the first game of the World Cup qualifiers, and this team can even be utilized against Dominica. Now, hear me out, because I know that some of you have already read through all of the names, but this is a platform that erases bias and the fact that emotion should not be the main reason for expressing and explaining football. So in goal, Mr. Waite. The back four, Mr. Lee, Mr. Lowe, Mr. Bernard, and Mr. Lembikisa. The midfield two will be Lambert and Anderson. The number 10 will be Mr. Palmer, and the front three, Cephas, Reed, and Antonio. This is a 4-2-3-1 formation. Now, let's jump right into the reason why I select these players. Let me start from the back. So Mr. Wade is the ideal man for the job, seeing that our captain in and Andre Blake will be out for about 4 to 6 weeks because he has done a surgery. Mr. Wade was not in the shadow, but he was always the second best to an Andre Blake. So this is the time for Mr. Wade to let Jamaica believe in his ability. We know that Mr. Wade have a lot of skills, a lot of movements where keeping is concerned. And as you can see the movements here, he's a guy that can make saves to push the ball over the bar and do various saves like even this one. Diving to the right, clearing his post, right? Because the opposition teams can take shots from all the way here. So he has to make it his priority to ensure that he's not flat footed and be on his ball of his foot, and ensuring that any shot that is taken low has to be saved. Alright, so let me just move away from Mr. Wade and express my interest in the back four. Alright, so let me start from the center back pairings. So it is understood that Ethan Pinnock will not be available for the game. And it is a sad story because for me and for others, Ethan Pinnock is Jamaica's best center back. But he's out because he has an ankle injury. But we have our other key players that are available who has played for Jamaica more than 5 times in a Damian Lowe and a Deshaun Bernard. Now, for Damian Lowe, we saw recently that Mr. Lowe has played as a central defensive midfielder, whereas his power and dominance was of goodness to the team. We saw where he break up plays, make forward line passes, and help Jamaica to score crucial goals in crucial moments. However, he was established in being a centre back. He has the experience there, he has the leadership quality. If he's not reckless in the game and is level headed, for which I think he should and will be, then Jamaica will have a powerful team going forward against the Dominican Republic, starting from the back line. Mr. Lowe, as we know, he likes to play a bit higher than the normal, and by way of that, when he's up there, he likes to make passes to like the front players like Cephas, because I choose him, and I will tell you why. Mr. Damian Lowe is not a no-nonsense player whenever it comes on to clearing the ball. So whenever opposition players are here with the ball, he will not hesitate. He will make it his job to clear the line. If he has to kick the ball there, he will. If he has to kick the ball over here, he will, because that is Damian Lowe. He's an aggressor. And I believe that Damian Lowe has to play as a back pair combination with a Deshaun Bernard. For Mr. Bernard, I think Mr. Bernard is the one who will be a bit more level-headed. He will not be the person to be the aggressor, but more so, I believe he will be more so composed on the ball. So when a Damian Lowe join the midfield, just saying, and we're hit on the counter or on the break, Mr. Bernard will be the man who will be more reserved to clear away any possible attacks that the Dominican Republics may have against Jamaica. And Mr. Bernard is a no-nonsense person as well. If he see where he can make a pass to an Anderson or a Reed or an Antonio, he will do so. And also to a Lembikisa and the Lee, because Mr. Lee and Lembikisa has to have the ability to go forward, because Jamaica has the ability with those two players to go and make chances for the front line. And then again, we saw whereas these two players have scored before for the national team. So all this being said about Mr. Damian Lowe and Mr. Bernard playing as a pairing back two as the centre backs. For Alembi Kisa now, Lembi Kisa is the man that I am expecting to bomb forward. And I mean bomb forward on the right back position, going up and down, because the energy will be necessary. Lembikisa has to utilize his pace where the line is concerned. As long as Lembikisa is doing this whenever it is necessary, then Jamaica will have no issues, because going forward, Mr. Lembikisa, he has to make it his duty to create opportunities for players in the box, like a Mikel Antonio. So we have to expect Lembikisa making useful crosses where our striker is concerned. Because once the crosses are whipping in the rightful way, then Antonio, we know is good in the box, right? He will make sure that he try to put away his chances. Whether it is going to be a header on either end or by with a strike by with his foot, then I think he will do that quite well. So Lembikisa, I want for you to go forward when there is necessary to do so, but you have to make sure that your defensive work is also done. Because if you're going to go forward, then players like Anderson and Lambert has to be aware of your movements. The same thing goes for Mr. Lee. Mr. Lee will be the person to go down the line again. But I am not going to say that Lee should be going down the line and Lembikisa should also be going down the line. It has to be done in uniformity or based on tactical reasons. Because for both of them to be running down the line without any good reason behind it, it will be utter garbage. So Mr. Lee trending down on the flank, as we know he's left-footed, so I am expecting for him to make best use of his passes, right? So let's say he has the ball here. I won't say he will make a big cross like this and switch a play to Antonio, but he can. What about a case with Cephas is here and he's here? A player from the opposite end is attacking him. You make the pass to Cephas, who is nimble-footed, who is quick-footed. I think he can do well to shoot or to make a pass to an Antonio. So where the technicality is concerned for a Mr. Lee, I know that he's a person who is good in the box as well, because the previous time I saw a Mr. Bobby Reed made a cross in the box in a previous game against the United States, he scored with his head. So even though he's defensively good, he has the ability to score goals going forward. It's tricky, whereas his reading is concerned. So if you're not watching a Mr. Lee properly, as a defensive player who can play attacking in the midfield as well, not to say as a number 10, but whereas a number 8 is concerned, or a winger, in the case of being a wing back, I should say, is concerned, then Mr. Lee has the potential to do so. Now, the 6, and I'm not talking about Chronic Law and Squash, I'm talking about Lambert and Anderson. I am a huge fan of Mr. Lambert, and I am happy that Lambert is given the opportunity to play for the national team. I can understand that other persons would want to see a Damian Lowe playing there, but remember that the injury concerns that the national team have, a Lambert is more ideal. And being a midfielder for a couple of years now, I think Mr. Lambert is more aware as to what the role should be as a defensive midfielder, or let's say a 8 for the national team. Now, I know that over the few seasons that he plays for Jamaica, he normally partners with a Daniel Johnson. But for me, a Daniel Johnson may not be the quickest or the fastest player to play in a game like the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is a team for which I have realized has improved, and I want to use my ideal best players who are existing to play in a crucial position where Jamaica national team is concerned. So this guy can go forward, as I know, and he's a person that can score goals. But the main thing about this guy playing in a 6 is to be off coverage. Let's say Palmer and Anderson goes up more. This is his role, to read the game properly, and if he has the ball, decides where to make the passes. Should he go forward or should he go back? That is what his role is. So, if you can think about a Sergio Busquets, a Busquets is not the quickest player, but whereas discipline and intelligence in terms of IQ is concerned, that is something that he utilized quite well in his days at Barcelona. Not saying Mr. Lambert will be a Busquets, but I'm expressing the fact that if he's going to play in a number 6 position, he has to utilize his defensive tactical ideas as to how to go about in playing the game. He's not the quickest, but he's a player that I believe can do well, and given the runs of game consistently, he will do fairly well for the national team. For the youngster in Mr. Anderson is a monstrous youngster who has committed his international duties to Jamaica, for which we have to applaud. His mind was made up, and I'm happy that he will not turn back because he can't. So Anderson is a player who I realize is quick, he's muscular, and is pacey. Maybe needs some time to develop in terms of keeping the ball at his feet with better control. But whereas that monstrous capability is concerned, Jamaica needs some physicality in the midfield, because then again, the midfield is where the game is won and lost. And we have to have players like an Anderson and Lambert ensuring that this region is covered properly, right? Has to be covered properly. So for this guy, I saw a few videos on him, whereas he's very pacey, as I expressed earlier on. But he's very slippery as well. If you can recall a Traore from the days of Wolves, it is somewhat similar to how he doesn't lose his way so easily. He's not easy to fall, he's not easy to give up. And that is where a number 8 is concerned. I wrote in the training notes that the two here in a Anderson and a Lambert has to have the potential and the ability to play or to have number 8 capabilities. So if Lambert sits, this guy has to be up and down, utilizing his strength, his pace, and his dominance to destroy Dominican Republic. I believe in Anderson, I believe in Lambert, and I also believe in Casey Palmer. The number 10 role is, you can say it's a dictator as to where creation is concerned. Now, I'm not talking about the shows in the past. I'm talking about opportunities for Cephas, Antonio, and Bobby Reed. This is the era where this gentleman is responsible for the number 10 spot. And he has to be quite technical, for which we understand that Mr. Palmer is technical. He has some good shots in him as well, and where set pieces is concerned, he has the ability to do so as well. Corners from either end, Mr. Casey Palmer will be one of those ideal players to do so for Jamaica. So it shows that not only being a number 10 is going to be his only role, but if you watch even number 10s in different games, for example, Bruno Fernandes in the Premier League, a Christian Eriksen who can play as a 10 as well, Lionel Messi at Barcelona, those guys do well with corner. So it's like you're watching cricket and you're saying that a wicketkeeper can bat very well. Number 10 can take direct free kicks or indirect free kicks, corners, and other set pieces. So Casey Palmer will shoot at times, and the thing is, I want for him to understand his role as well because these two guys, remember, they have to have the number 8 capability. I saw that Mr. Palmer can drop deep, not as a DM, but whereas he can string some passes from a deeper line because he can tackle fairly well, and when he does that, Anderson or Lambert will kickstart and go ahead of him. So, not because it's going to be your number 10, he has to have the capability of playing the role of a 8 or a deep line player who can string passes on the ground or over the top. So, whereas our front three is concerned, I think that this guy has a huge future for the Jamaica men's national team. I see him as a trickster. I see him as a player who can make use of this space because he somewhat reminds me of a Romario, right? Our striker. He so much reminds me of that player who you cannot count out of his game. Give him opportunities consistently, he will do something. Whether he make a pass to a Palmer who is running through the channel here, and Palmer will give it to Antonio or shoot, and somebody will score. No bars here because we're not eating any chocolates. We want for the players to use their creativity and create opportunities for the front line. And Cephas being a forward or a winger, it is his responsibility to make opportunities for Antonio where deemed necessary. So Cephas, I don't see him as a player who will be hanging the touchline very much, but more so coming into this space. So he will not go into this direction mainly, but rather he will come into this direction. This is his type of football that I realize, right? So I believe that Cephas, with his energy, with his low center of gravity, and his ability to make good passes for the national team, he will do fairly well. Now, for a Bobby Reid is the man that Jamaican fans highly love. They highly rate him because of his commitment, because of how he makes himself be a Jamaican, right? So Bobby Reid now is going to be the man. I won't give him too much defensive work, but it has to be a part of everyone's game to defend the team where necessary. But Bobby Reid is a guy who can drift in, who can drift wide, and he can create chances for anyone who dodge into the box. As I mentioned earlier on, Ali from the previous game against the United States, Bobby Reid has vision. He will make crosses where necessary, and somebody will score. So Bobby Reid is not the type of player who will be selfish and craven, right? Because the food will dump on the rest of the players him, and we want for Bobby to share the food. So he'll be like a person who will make ways or create chances for his teammates because even the guys from the deeper line can make it their job to score a goal because the focus could be on other players like a Cephas or not Mr. Lee, he should be down here, but like say a Palmer, right? Because Palmer is a number 10. So he'll be marked, but Bobby with his vision can pick out a Lambert or a Anderson who may go forward to score. Alright, so I hope you guys are understanding. I hope you guys are following because this is something that we have to understand once we're talking about football. Now for Michael Antonio, some persons may be saying, why not a Shamar Nicholson? We need a leader. Not saying Mr. Nicholson isn't a leader, but the experience that Bobby Reid has, no, Mr. Antonio has, Jamaica needs it. And because of his experience and his ability to score a goal, to drop even deeper line, allowing other players to go in front of him, playing on different ends of the pitch. Let's say the left side, Cephas can even cut across because Antonio holds up onto the ball quite well. So the thing is, Mr. Antonio may not be the person you think will be just a target man, but is that person who provides flexibility whereas the front line is concerned. He can fly and score headers where necessary, whether it is going to be on this end, right, or on the other end of the pitch. anywhere in the goal, this guy in an Antonio will have the ability to score goals for Jamaica. And because I want for him to score a lot more for the national team and to boost his confidence more, he needs this for the Copa America. So, my people, I hope that this video was one that pulls a few strings in which you should understand or think as to how Jamaica should set up and progress going forward for the game against the Dominican Republic. And also, if all goes well, then this can be the formation and the selected players who can play the game against Dominica. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope that you like the video, comment, share, and subscribe to the channel as well, because your input is always considered. Take care, thank you for the time out, and we will meet again. Bye bye for now.